All right, so you're obviously trying to get the best return on your ad spend, right? You want your ad campaigns to be profitable. Now, I've run ads for, I don't know, 8 or 9 years now. We've been apart, whether spent or managed millions in Facebook ad spend, and we've learned a lot. And whether it's the education side of the business, whether it's local marketing for local businesses, whether it's e-commerce, there's really two ways you can look at a return on ad spend. I think this will be extremely valuable to you if you're running ads. So number one is you can look for basically, what do I have to do to make my target return on ad spend as low as possible? Meaning, if you only have to get like a 1.5 return on ad spend, otherwise known as ROAS, to get the profit you want, then that's great, right? So let's imagine that you're doing e-commerce and you start out with a drop shipping model, right? Which is one thing that we work with people on when they're starting out. And let's say it takes off and your margins are doing pretty good and you're getting like a two return on ad spend. But let's say once that product takes off, you can now order it in bulk and you're getting it much cheaper per unit than you were getting it when you were just drop shipping it, right? So you're ordering it in bulk, you're getting it for cheaper, which means now your return on ad spend to achieve the profit that you want can actually be lower because your product costs are lower, right? Was talking to a client of ours, and he was telling me, hey, to achieve 15 to 20% profit margins, he's gotten to a point where his return on ad spend only needs to be a 1.4. So for every dollar he spends on Facebook ads, he only needs to make back $1.40 to hit his profit targets. That's an amazing place to be, because then you're not constantly playing the game of trying to get the cheapest Facebook ads possible. That's one way. Now, the other way is sort of who can spend the most to acquire a customer wins. That's definitely a viable way to look at your ad spend as well. So that would mean, hey, how do I increase my average order value? Or how do I take somebody who buys today and get them to buy again tomorrow, a week later, a month later, and increase the lifetime value of that customer? Because when you look at it like that, then your return on ad spend, your target return on ad spend, could actually be higher. Maybe in order to achieve your goal, your return on ad spend has to be like a 2.5 or even a 3.0. But rather than you trying to basically cut corners, cut costs to basically get that down, maybe you focus on the other side. You focus on trying to increase what customers are worth to the business so that you can afford to basically have a higher target return on ad spend, meaning you have to have a better return on ad spend to hit the profit margins, the targets that you want. You can go either way. There's no right or wrong. You can combine the two. And part of this as well is obviously what you're selling, right? If what you're selling is higher priced, then obviously you can afford to have a higher target return on ad spend, or I guess you could say a lower, right? Because depending on how you look at it, if it's a higher priced product, then you have more wiggle room. So obviously that's going to be dependent as well, but there is no right or wrong. You can basically try and cut the cost. Say, hey, how low can I make it so that my return on ad spend doesn't have to be extraordinarily high to hit my targets? Or, hey, how do I get more from each customer? So while my return on ad spend target is higher, I have ways to basically achieve that.